Good day and welcome to SCO BRICS Insight, where we look at what's really going on in the world of the BRICS. Now today I want to talk about an event that was focused on the booming Russian agricultural sector and its plans for the future. Now, speaking last week at the plenary section, Russian Agro-Industrial Industry 2030, Ways to Achieve Technological Leadership at the 26th Russian Agro-Industrial Exhibition called Golden Autumn, the Russian Prime Minister Mikhail Mishustin said that in the condition of unprecedented sanctions against Russia, our farmers have used this opportunity to the maximum level, and much of what was purchased abroad 10 years ago is now produced in Russia. In fact, the Russian leaders actually being very modest. I mean, let's look back. In 2014, in response to the economic sanctions imposed by the collective West against Russia after the return of Crimea to its motherland, a food embargo was introduced by decree by Russian President Vladimir Putin. He introduced a ban on all agricultural and food products from the West, raw materials, and there were countries that were unfriendly to Russia. As a result, over the last decade, the Russian agro-industrial sector has made not just a leap, but a fantastic breakthrough and continues to grow in leaps and bounds forward. I mean, Russia, remember, is mainly a large and northern, sparsely populated country in relation to its surface area. A small proportion of land is actually used for agriculture. It's managed to enter the elite club of countries where climatic conditions for agriculture are incomparably better. I mean, for example, the United States, its fertile and usable agricultural land occupies more than 50% of the total area of the country, whereas in Russia it's only about 15%, and even in the US, northern regions, obviously not including Alaska, are located at what is this Russian European part. So during the last 10 years of sanctions, the volume of production in Russian agriculture in every sector has increased by at least a third, and in the food processing industry by almost 1.5 times. I mean, in 2013, Russia was still importing a significant proportion of its meat. Now, according to the head of the Ministry of Agriculture, Oksana Lut, Russia is completely self-sufficient in meat, and its opportunity to export even more with it growing every year. Speaking at the plenary session, Lut lamented it's only in meat from sheep, as in lamb and mutton, that we're lagging behind. But something says that we're going to overtake that and become very similar. Now, the use of the word record has become a bit of a cliche in Russian agriculture, but in the case of harvest, it's completely accurate. For several years now, the gross grain harvest in Russia has exceeded 120 million tons. In 2023-24, the grain harvest was 142 million tons. Now, the harvest is well over 120 million tons, and that's taken into account the volumes of domestic consumption of all types of grain. Food security is now fully ensured in Russia. Now, before I continue, I'd like to make an appeal. If you like and enjoy my videos, you can help me fund the channel and my website, SCO BRICS Insight, full of great articles. You can do this by making a small donation where you can just send me $1 or $2 or €1 or whatever. Everybody who donates does get a personal thank you from me, so just click on the thanks button. Now, on the whole, the production of the Russian agro-industrial complex increased by an average of 3% year on year. I mean, the production of livestock and poultry was up by 4%, raw milk by 3.3%, and next year it will go up again. But that's just the warm-up. You know, albeit a record-breaking one. Yesterday, the Russian Prime Minister mentioned one of the major strategic documents for the government's plans is the doctrine of food security of the country. Now, I know it sounds very impressive, but according to Mishustin, it's the implementation of one of the foundations of the country's sovereignty, and it's aimed at improving the quality of life of our citizens. So according to the document, by 2030, the production of volume of Russian agro-industrial should grow by at least a quarter compared to 2021, and exports should increase by at least 1.5, if not 2 times. Ambitious? Yeah. Feasible? Yeah. Now, more than that, it's not for nothing that the Western media have been repeating in recent years that Russia's turned its agro-industrial sector into a branch of the Ministry of Defense, and that Russian agricultural exports are its silent weapon. I mean, currently, Russia is the world leader in the export of wheat, barley, maize, sunflower, rapeseed oil, frozen fish. 1 in 5 loaves of bread, for example, baked in the world, is made from Russian flour, or Russian wheat origin flour. Every year the list of countries that buys Russian food grows. This year it will supply its food to 160 countries, and even North America continues to buy Russian wheat. Now, the number of countries that buy Russian wheat has grown from 57 to 67 in 1 year. That means that Russia's technically pushed others out of the way. I mean, for example, the market is seeing a sharp decline in the share of wheat from Argentina and Australia. And these are countries where Russia used to compete fiercely, but we were supposedly going to be inferior. Now, in North Africa, Russia's squeezed out European, but mainly French wheat out of the markets of Egypt, Tunisia, Algeria, and Morocco. And bear in mind the last 3 were all pretty much colonies. And the fall in exports of France from 9 million to 5.6 million tonnes. So thanks, Mr. Macron. Russian exporters love taking your share. Russia's doubled its grain deliveries to China. In January to August, it sold over 2.4 million tonnes, and Russia and China keeps buying more and more grain. I mean, this is a record for that bilateral trade since 2015. Before that, they didn't actually publish the data. Russia also supplies barley to China, mainly for its beer, I would think. Plus, there's a dramatic increase in pork and pig products to China since the beginning of the year. Russian meat producers sold over 200,000 tonnes to China. And that includes products like ears, tails, heads and intestines that the Chinese consumers love to eat. As an aside, the only thing with legs that the Chinese don't eat is a table. And the only thing without wings they don't consume is an aeroplane. Trust me, I've eaten some strange animal parts in Hong Kong and in China. Also, Vietnam stepped up its imports of Russian pork and pig products, buying around 50,000 tonnes in the first half of the year. And that's twice the volume of the previous year. Obviously, something like the Minotaur, don't they? Obviously, analysis of the Indonesian statistics, in Indonesia bought 95,000 tonnes of grain for the first half of the year, compared with only 4,000 tonnes a year earlier. At the same time, exports tripled every month in physical terms to other countries like South Korea. South Korea just bought another 30,000 tonnes. And that's according to the Korean Statistical Service. And these are countries that are supposed to be not very friendly. I mean, Russia supplied more than 1 million tonnes of fertiliser to Brazil for the 3rd month, and it's 1 million tonnes a month, with the volumes reaching a historic high. Now, sales of Russian fertiliser to around the world are growing, but to Brazil they reached 1 million tonnes a month for the first time, and 5% up again, so it's 1.14 in July. This is getting incredible. Now, here's a wee bit of rabid Kremlin propaganda, which I'm sure you're all going to enjoy. Now, from 2014 to 2023, agricultural production in Russia grew by 33.2%. In the food sector, that's processing sector, 42.9%. In the last 10 years, agricultural exports have gone up by 2.6 times. They're now 43 billion compared with 17 billion in 2013. During the food embargo, grain harvests have doubled, oilseeds are up 2.3 times, and vegetables and fruit and berries are up also. Livestock and poultry production have gone up hugely. Russia is now the 4th largest meat producer in the world, and its milk and dairy production has gone up by 15%. I mean, Russia's also responding flexibly and creatively to market changes. For example, with the serious climate problems causing in Brazil sugar production, Russia's just stepped up. It just lifted the embargo on sugar exports and is now selling sugar to 18 other markets, and it's about 600,000 tonnes. It's a lot of sugar, and that's sweet enough, isn't it? Now, if that's not enough, on 19th of September, Vladimir Putin extended the embargo on the import of any food from Western countries for another 2 years. So I guess it's no more Parmesan unless I bring it in from London. But I don't mind. This Russian Parmesan is actually not that bad. Now, Russia's agricultural sector now employs 6% of the adult population. Now, that's a whole an army of workers who feed the people, who feed and strengthen the Russia's economy. Now, according to Mikhail Mishustin, the success of the domestic agro-industrial complex is a tribute to our farmers, and just as old like old Soviet, isn't it? As Oksana Lut, the Russian Minister of Agriculture, said, Russia's embarked on a strategic course to strengthen its position as a guarantor of supply of quality food that enables food security for the global south. Of course, this is really winding up the West, which can do nothing as it watches as Russia arranges the great redistribution on the world food market, which the West has long dominated, exploited, occupied, and now Russia's depriving the parasites of the wonderful capitalist gathered of their labels of influence in politics and economics. So, today, the not so tightly isolated Russia sends food to more than 160 countries, and is a world leader in essential foodstuffs like wheat, barley, cooking oils, frozen fish, and a leading producer in sunflower oil and other types of agricultural products, which obviously helps its influence and authority. And it helps those who are oppressed by the overbearing parasitic policies of the collective West. So Russia's moving forward at a great pace and the future looks bright. And thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. If you've enjoyed this video, you can help me fund the channel and the website SCOBRICSinsight.com by making a donation by clicking on the thanks button at the bottom of the screen. Don't forget the comments section. I'd love to interact with you. Love to see your comments, read your comments and respond to them. So I'll see you all again soon. Thank you.